So I appreciate you
Again
guys.
later.
I appreciate the patience with having to take a week off there. But we are back, and when we last left our heroes, we were all clustered around the least attractive superhero base room of all time,
The
possibly.
Fortress of Attitude.
What did you call it?
The Fortress of Attitude.
The Fortress of Attitude. I like that. I can't. I know we. I know we.
Obviously, you didn't read my journal.
I did.
I didn't read your journal. I didn't. I haven't. I haven't.
It actually got a smirk.
I'm at least a week behind on all.
Everything.
On yes,
Life.
yes, categorically, kind of yes, all the way across. I was looking. I was looking for the pictures that we had posted up. We put that in the mask thing, didn't we? Oh yeah, all those beautiful mask pictures. Anyway, so you guys had a nice night of pizza and other snackables, food in the room that having claimed a room that nobody wanted. Uh, oh, that one though, that's some good looking stuff. Anyway, so having done all that, it's off to bed with you, and we pick up with the last person who had not snagged or not earned the loving attention of a love letter, which I will, which I'll bring over here, and that reads, "Greetings, Kiln. It was nice to get together with the team after the battle at the museum, and you went back to your quarters feeling fairly good. But sleep did not come easily or stay long. Something is coming. Someone is coming, sorry. Someone strong, someone bad. Someone who immediately knew you activated the ruins of that temple and had been waiting for something like that to happen for a very long time. The only good news is you know they're coming. Roll Savior."
Ah, I forgot there was a roll in there.
That's kind of funny to me. A little bit.
Yeah,
Bloop. What do we get? A
9.
9. All right. So we don't have to worry about it. 10 plus both. On the 7 and 9, pick one. The two options that you have are tell the team about whoever it is and tell them everything you can to get them ready. Add plus to the team. Add plus 2 team to the pool. Or keep things to yourself and mentally prepare to face your ancient foe. Plus 1 forward when you face them. On a miss, in your dream you were the exhibit in the museum, peered at. This may have happened anyway, but it doesn't hit you as hard. Peered at, lectured over by fools, dusted infrequently, and generally overlooked and forgotten and irrelevant. Uh, I might still ask this other question. Tell us about a school day activity that makes you the most uncomfortable, awkward, or confused. But that was actually a contingency on the fail roll. So no matter what you pick, be prepared to tell us about the one who is coming, remembering that dreams are unreliable narrators. Hugs and kisses, editorial. So, first of all, I guess it boils down to which of those options are you leaning toward?
Um,
Take your time on this because I know that, as you said, you forgot that there was a roll there, so there's actually a choice to make.
uh, I, um, I'm
I might need you to repeat some of this because I'm not getting any of it.
Same here.
The longest technical pause of all time. No, probably not. But a pretty long technical pause for us where we started to have technical difficulties on Wednesday and resumed the conversation on uh, Saturday. So that's a pretty good chunk. That's 72 hours? No, something like that. 72 hours. Call it that. Anyway, when we
I'm just impressed that everything got here and got installed
indeed,
between Wednesday and today.
in that relatively short period of time, indeed. Okay, so to catch everybody up a little bit, Kiln had his love letter stuff happening, and there we go. And ended up with a 9 where they can pick between telling the team about whoever it is and telling them everything you can to get ready, and keeping things to yourself and mentally preparing to face your ancient foe. Anyway, and I'm just checking. Oh, I see. Alex had asked some questions there. First, the museum, where there will be a wonderfully dramatic, shadowed, not revealing face scene as the one who's coming looks now destroyed ruins. Nega is the name. If Kiln deactivates the museum thing, well, yeah, deactivated isn't really, yeah, exactly. All right. So, Kiln, what you're saying you got in trouble for was breaking a bunch of pots.
Yes.
I love that and hate that at the same time. It's let's just say it's on brand and leave it at that. It's kind of awesome. All right, so we had 2 options to deal with in the love letter, which was either telling everybody about it or sort of not and focusing on that portion of it. So which are we going for, and what's that scene look like? Are we in the cafeteria the next morning? Or well, I mean, actually, I'm going to say this: we're in the cafeteria. It's the next morning. That part's true regardless of whether you're keeping it to yourself or telling everybody. So you can either tell us what's going on during that scene or tell us what you choose, and we can figure it out from there.
I'm going to tell the team
Cool.
about it.
Cool. So, cafeteria, lunchroom, table. Help us set the scene a little bit. What's breakfast for Joe? He sits down at the
6 of those little teeny tiny boxes of Raisin Bran, all poured into a bowl and covered with milk and sugar.
Lovely. Who was already sitting down when you sat down, like already there and apparently taking so much time with their breakfast that they are still.
Alex was there and he had
but yes.
excuse me, thank you. They had a bagel, a banana, and
fill in. Well,
fill in whatever. But
what's
they weren't
Bill's Mad Lib
actually
there?
They weren't actually eating. They were busy on their phone.
Banana, a bagel, and a fill in the blank, Bill. Mad Lib's our way into the.
We'll go for Bernie Bott's every flavor yogurt.
Oh my God!
You?
It's a surprise in every in every cup.
Also known as Greek yogurt, but you know.
Oh, that's fair. Matt, what's breakfast? What do you take advantage of here in the cafeteria? Like having been.
No, it's like my lunch. It's like, okay, what's fresh? You know, any fresh fruit, you know, maybe some yogurt. I haven't quite acquired the taste for the Greek yogurt, so I tend to put a lot of honey on it. Make it sweet. So, maybe yogurt, a ton of honey, berries, maybe a spoonful of granola for the crunch because the texture is kind of interesting.
It's fair.
No scrambled eggs. No scrambled eggs.
Oh, sweetie, let me tell you what Greek yogurt is for. Greek yogurt is intended to get us to try new foods because we'll put anything on it to make it better.
True.
Have
you tried marmalade?
Speaking of someone who has like unflavored, like zero fat Greek yogurt every morning, that is 100% accurate. Well done.
And it's the winter second cousin to plain oatmeal.
True enough.
Putting things on it.
Putting things on it to liven it up. Roddy, what's your breakfast look like?
Crunch berries.
Oh my god.
God.
It's not even the rest of the cereal, it's just the crunch berries.
Just eat them as a dry snack.
Uh-huh.
What do you drink with dry crunch berries?
I was about to say, there might be milk in there too.
I'm just curious. I mean, dry crunch berries and Dr. Pepper.
Crunch berries and chocolate milk.
Yes.
Oh. Ooh,
yes.
I like that.
Fat chocolate milk.
I was about to say, it's Roddy. Basically, anytime you're going to see him eating, it'll probably be something that looks like it might make you slightly diabetic.
Or a lot.
Oh, you mom. Joe says, shoveling more Raisin Bran in his mouth.
Nice. So, Kiln, you join them with this. Is this kind of a come in and sit down and not have any food, or you're sitting down with your normal breakfast? And if so, what is it?
Sitting down with my normal breakfast, but not really eating anything. Which is a plate full of bacon,
Just
with the side of ranch.
Because ranch.
I'm
modern wonder.
We didn't have ranch.
Every
They did have an annoying number of hidden valleys that they had to take quests into.
Oh my god. Every single cell inside my mouth puckered individually when you said that. Anyway. Doy. All right. So you're not eating. What's that about? What's going on? You sit down, you said you're not really eating the breakfast, so what are you doing?
Just kind of staring off into space.
Ooh.
He's not eating his bacon.
So Roddy will probably prod him and just be like, "Hey, you gonna use that ranch?"
Oh God.
You took ranch introduced. No, stop. Because you took ranch introduced into a breakfast milieu and managed to make it worse. Because the only thing you have to incorporate ranch with is crunch berries and chocolate milk. And that's just wrong. Like that should not, ranch should not come anywhere.
He's gonna steal something. He's gonna also steal something off of Joe's plate.
He's gonna try.
Joe's only comment was gonna be, and they call me a natural.
It'll just be like one of those things where it's like, Kiln is not always wrong about these things. Every now and then they'll put together something and be like, you know what? The bacon and ranch was not that bad of an idea.
Is Roddy kind of the like the are you going to eat that without and then doesn't wait for the response kind of person?
Yes.
100%. Sees a plate full of bacon and ranch. I'm sorry guys, I got to take this. I got to take this call. I gotta take this call. Kiln, does Roddy stealing some of the bacon off your plate rouse you from your 1,000-yard stare? At least enough to remind yourself that they're there.
I mean, reminds me enough to start eating some bacon and then wondering where my ranch went. Yeah,
It's easy to trace. Doesn't require a tremendous amount of detective work there.
well, it could have been one of the others. They have threatened before to take my ranch away because they couldn't stand to watch.
We have a mutual non-aggression pact here. You leave my chicken tenders alone. I won't touch your ranch. Besides, if I'm having bacon, the only ranch I want is the one where the cows were raised to make more bacon.
Pigs.
Pigs.
But
Pigs. I think you
whatever.
meant pigs.
No, actually, I love the fact that Alex gets that wrong. However, like so techie, and then cows instead. I actually love.
I haven't been outside in years. Animals are animals, okay? They just
Walking meat factories.
Beef bacon. So I will open this up.
you know what a beef bacon is. Wagyu beef.
Wagyu.
Wagyu. Sure. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Bacon.
Okay, so I will put this at a somewhat meta level. Kiln is, I would say, more pensive than normal. Is that fair, James? Like giving
Yep.
off a bit of a pensive, distracted air. Who, the editors of the comic need somebody to prod them. So, whom?
I volunteer to pierce the mask.
Oh. What's that look like before you get into the actual rolling thing? Like, what do you kind of, how are you poking the bear in the cage?
What it looks like is that Alex is rolling with Soldier because Alex is acting on orders and relying on training. They've been assigned to monitor Kiln. They were the one who prodded Kiln into acting to activate that thing. And since then, they have been surveilling Kiln, sometimes directly and sometimes not, at all hours. So we've got photos from all angles. We've got dedicated micro expression analysis. We have voice stress analysis. We have all kinds of metrics saying, hey, something's wrong. And Alex's gut also tells them, yeah, something's probably wrong.
So what I love about this, first of all, but what I see in like a comic book page, and you get like a whole page of setup for this, is essentially what you just said in yellow boxes throughout like a series of panels that are explaining the degree to which you're surveilling everybody, and then we specifically see how much you're surveilling Kiln. This is, of course, not naturally. Well, I'm somewhat naturally a nosy person, but this is on orders. Aegis has asked for this, been told for this, and I've been, more importantly, trained for this, which I needed to be, because this, actually interviewing people, getting into the heart of things is a little bit outside my wheelhouse, but I've been trained for hours, for days, for weeks, for months. This is literally understanding what's going on with my team is literally why I'm here, and I finally get to bring it to bear. All right, that's all in this setup. And,
Yep.
the last panel at the very corner of the page, set and with an extra deep gutter between it and the rest of the panels to really set it away from all that other setup, is Alex reaching over, grabbing a piece of bacon, and going, "Hey, Kiln, what's up?" Like all of that, like all this massive setup, and it's like,
No, let me.
no,
let me
oh
do
no,
this.
no, okay.
So I'm stealing the whole plate. I'm saying I'm taking your bacon.
And then
To provoke.
kind of gauge the response. Ooh. That is wow, look at that. Rolling Soldier too. Look at that.
He just now gets influence over me and shift my labels if they like.
I
Gets
want to.
influence over you? Or the other way around?
No, they get because they're training boar
Oh,
fruit
okay.
kind of a thing, you
Gotcha.
know.
Okay.
And we'll let it be ages, but I want to. So just a bit of a because that's. I want to look at your labels here real quick, but I'm jumping in exactly with this. Let me just look at your thing. Shift your labels if you need to.
While you're looking
you
at that, can I ask him the questions, or
Yeah,
do
sure.
you want to?
No, yeah, sure. Go pose the question so that James can think about it. I don't want to talk about. I'm going to do a quick little flashback about what this training actually looked like.
That's good. How can I get your character to start talking about what's bothering you? What are you really planning, and what do you want me to do?
Okay. So think about that for a second, James, and we'll do give you a second here during this little bit of flashback. So what we're seeing is you with. Is Water still your handler? Is that who we're using? It's still Water. Or
I'd
Water's
say for now, but I'm going to write you like 2 or 3 new NPCs
cool.
for ages. So I haven't done that yet.
For this one, I'm going to use him because I've got a pretty good sense of like his voice, and I think he'd have some really good insight in how to read people because that's sort of his superpower. People always tell you when you're trying to get understand whether or not somebody's telling the truth or if they're holding something back or if they're worried or something like that is watch the eyes. Watch the eyes. Watch the eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul. It's all crap, kid. You got to watch nuances. You got to watch the shoulders. And he does something with his shoulders while you're watching, and he's sad. He's just he gives off this incredible like he's clearly mourning something close to him. Somebody's sick. Somebody's he was sad. Now he's worried, and it's somebody who's sick. Somebody who's that he cares about is not doing well, and his mind's not really on whatever he's going to. And then his shoulders shift again, and he's resolute, and things are tough, but he's handling it. And then he's distracted and worried, and he shifts, and his face stays exactly the same throughout this other thing. His eyes are completely lidded, like half masked, nothing. His face is a dead zone, and he conveys mood after mood after mood after mood with little shifts of his, not just the shoulders, but like his neck, little shift of his head. It's all body language type stuff. People will get good at lying. You know why? They practice in the mirror. They practice in the rearview mirror so they can get those soulful eyes. They do all that kind of thing. And people are, and you can work on that. You can practice it. But it's the whole body, kid. You gotta look at the whole thing. Body language carries. I don't know every language on the planet. I don't know most of them. But if you put me in a room or watching a room where somebody is being questioned, I can tell you a lot about what the subject's thinking, what he's feeling, what they're feeling, and we're gonna run through this until you get it, and then we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it until you're basically sick of me, but you're going to get it, believe me, and it's gonna work. It'll especially work on kids because they don't know what their bodies are doing half the time. And we'll cut back over to Kiln, and you kind of pulling the plate to kind of get the boulder rolling, so to speak, and watching him. So could you reiterate the questions so we're framed back into that?
Very cool in the chat.
Oh, right, in the chat. Thank you. Bloop. And what are you planning? What do you want me to do? What could I do to get you to open up and talk? Ooh, I like that. Love that. That's a great question.
I would say to get me to open up and talk, probably bringing up the museum trip, and the ruins would, hit the heart of.
And just time framing this is the next morning after that. I know we've had a gap in the game stuff, but functionally speaking, this is, the next morning. So should be fresh in the characters' minds if nothing else.
What am I planning? I'm
We could
I
space
am-
this out too a little bit if you want, like go do the getting you open up to talk thing and then kind of move through the rest of them, or you could just dump them all at once. It's up to you.
either way, I can go out. What am I planning? Planning on going back to visit the museum, anticipating that that's what triggered my nightmare. And what do I want you to do? Probably just come along and support. So that since Kiln has been rather stranded in this time, and now something's bad happened, but they have a team to count on again.
So now that I have your bacon, are you gonna pull out a sword and jump at me?
No, as a indicator of how out of it I am, just kind of nod and go, okay, wasn't gonna eat it anyways.
Okay, so Kiln, something's clearly wrong because you're not paying attention to bacon.
I appreciate this.
You're thinking about going back to that stone thing, aren't you?
Yes.
You know how I know that? Because whenever I get into a weird situation, like talking to other human beings, I feel like I want to go back to my room and just hole up and play games and do hacking stuff and mess around on computers. Because it's the one thing that I know. And I think that stone thingy is probably the one thing that you know, isn't it?
Yeah, even crumbled, it was home.
I have this mental image of Joe kind of between you two at the table, like it's a round table, but like kind of between you two, and kind of like
back and forth.
looking back and forth, but continuing to chew the whole time, like turning back and just continuing to.
I'm good with going back.
Raisin Bran, huh? Good stuff.
Should try some ranch on that.
Is there gonna be weird magic stuff?
What?
Is there gonna be weird magic stuff?
Probably.
I want to go.
I mean, statistically speaking, yes.
That can't go without me.
Cool. It's decided.
Trip.
We're skipping class.
That's perfect. I was about to ask. It's like, no. Rodney's like, I like how you escalate. You're like, it's, well, we need to go back to the museum. Cool. We're skipping class. What, we're what?
Well, obviously, this is important. And class isn't important, so we need to go do the important thing.
Roddy
Some
only
of
saying
us.
What's that?
I was gonna ask if you were only saying that because you hadn't done your math homework for today.
We're not going to talk about that.
If you need someone to do your math homework, you can just ask me. I'm not going to do it, but you can ask me.
There's a
I don't
whole.
know why you have any. I don't know why you.
Wait a second, I actually
Math.
got my math homework done today. We have to skip class. I had my homework done.
Oh, high five, big guy.
Dagnabbit.
That's awesome.
He'll do a sulky high five, sort of like the Hulk gives a high five to Thor after bringing down the thing in Union Station.
In other words, you're going to punch me in the face.
It was the shoulder.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Sure.
or in the hand that you have held up for the high five. The chair scoots several feet across the floor.
Scooch.
Oh.
I like.
Okay, I'm all for going back to the museum because I was really curious about that myself. And honestly, I probably need to pay more attention to that kind of stuff too. And Kellen, I think it's awesome that you got this thing, even though like what you okay, so you say you want to go back. Wait a minute. Why are you looking so gloomy? Why aren't you like smiling? You're like, hey, I have a reason to go back to the museum now. Like, why aren't you happy about this?
Because I'm afraid of what we'll find there.
Security guards,
Adventure?
the Muzak in the elevators.
An ancient evil.
Okay, so the curator.
Adventure?
The professor's still there?
Still sounds like adventure.
Like what ancient
The art
evil?
teacher.
Need a God.
What ancient evil are you talking about? Like seriously?
Last night, I had a nightmare where I got buried under rocks and the water was rising and the only water thing I can think of is the ancient demon that my people fought against. If it's somehow still around, I need to stop it before something can happen to this culture, these people now.
You mean us?
Yes.
Well, I'd like nothing to happen to us too. So, yeah, I'm with you on this one. Okay, so is it like I want to clarify? Is it like ancient evil compared to today, or ancient evil compared to like when you came from?
My people tell that Alvis has been here since the forming of the world. Wait, why did I say? I can't read my own notes.
Elvis, huh?
No,
Oh.
no.
I thought he.
Fluvis.
Pluvis? I want to make sure I get this right. Spell that for me.
I can't read my own freaking notes.
Fluvis. There you go. I mean, that's fair. I can't read my notes either. I thought you said Elvis though. I was with Margie on this.
We're
one.
all with Elvis on that one. Yeah.
The ancient evil Elvis. Suddenly we're in a over the edge camp. Or no, what was that?
Anagram for evils.
Evils, something like that.
Very good.
I don't know if you told me Colonel Tom Parker is trying to take over the world, I believe you. So like, okay, so they said Fluvis did what?
Fluis has been trying to claim the entire world since land first rose.
Well, he's kind of doing a bad job because we're still here, right?
Sounds kind of rude.
I want to punch a water demon.
So he's a water demon that's trying to like the land rising is like some kind of personal insult sort of thing. So they must be ruled. I'm thinking out loud. I'm not sure if that's even where you were
It'd cause a
going.
massive flood that would like cause entire continents to disappear.
Yeah. I like it.
God.
I like it. Oh, the closest he got was Atlantis.
All right. Well, let's go to the museum and let's find out what Fluvis is up to. And let's, even if it's not connected to this thing that you're experiencing, like hanging out at some place that is of your people and of your time, I think it's kind of cool. So let's do it.
Do you think they'll let us back in the museum?
Oh, please
That's why
go.
we got to sneak.
I was going to say, please go in disguise.
Don't worry.
I'm sure they're grateful for all we did to defeat the bad guys. Right?
He's gonna
Right?
put on a fake mustache.
Don't worry. I'll take care of this. Okay, you guys?
All I need to do is put on some of those clothes that keep trying to make me wear.
Oh, the girls still try to. Alex, what are you doing to make it all okay?
When you ask Aegis for additional resources, equipment, or information during a mission, roll soldier. On a hit, they resupply you as best they can.
Okay.
They asked me to look into this. They said to see if anything's going to happen. They care about this. Let them pony up some cool gear.
So I know you're going to write up a couple things, but give me like the one line pitch of whoever your current like handler is that would be the person picking up the call.
Okay. So I'm going to say that this is basically a coded message to Department 42, which is the weird tech department within Aegis.
Okay.
And Alex is basically saying, give me some stealth tech that will let a gorilla sneak into a museum.
Like GOR or GUERRL? Which kind of gorilla?
It's in text, you idiots. GOR. Stop using text to speech. You're lazy. Just read.
Go an actual. Oh, your team. Right. Yeah, this is like you don't know. I mean, he must be one of like he's whoever this guy is like whoever is currently on like just monitor duty kind of thing, like without having any real rank or anything like that. He doesn't have like even an agent designation. It's just Ryan B. Like is his little call letter thing. Anyway, so he okay, sure. Just the gorilla? Question mark?
Like that's going to be the biggest challenge. Like the other four of us need to get in there too, but we're all relatively humanoid. So
I mean, he's relatively.
Joe, stay out of my secret communication, okay? Just
Man.
Okay, so all 5 of you, but the gorilla is the high water mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
All right, pulling up your team specs. Look for the Amazon Transit van parked on the west side of the museum. And yeah, just walk up to the van. We'll get it sorted out. What's the ETA? Are you heading there right now?
Yep.
And there's like
Joe starts shoveling the
so-
Raisin Bran in faster.
so in the text thing, it's just Ryan B is typing. Ryan B is typing, and the dots just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, and then it stops. 30 seconds go by. Ryan B is typing. Ryan B is typing. It stops. And this goes like,
If this is just gonna end with him being like, okay,
yeah, that's when it finally
Yep.
ends up. Like 5.5 minutes later, with like 3 or 4 stops and starts, he finally just says, okay.
This isn't National Novel Writing Month, motherfucker. Just get me my stuff.
The text of a broken man.
The text. It's so good. All right. Right. Unless anybody wants anything else, we will just cut to you guys sort of in front of the Sprinter van, the Amazon Sprinter van.
Alex is going to be super proud about all this. They're going to be like, feast your eyes on probably not the best that Aegis has to offer, but the most accessible.
Feast your eyes.
The 8 a.m. Aegis on a Tuesday.
Feast your eyes on Aegis's easiest to acquire. Big sweeping arm motion.
This is the dollar store of advanced technology, but it's good.
Does anybody have a driver's license? Aren't we all like sophomores?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting to the museum.
Okay, so there's a ferry that runs from the island. You guys are actually early enough that you could actually take the ferry back because kids are still coming to the island for like you're at breakfast. It's like 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30 in the morning. Classes don't start till 9. So you could just go out to the ferry and get on it and leave before classes even get rolling for the morning if you move. Now, granted, the on-island culture at the cafeteria tends to be a lot more people showing up in t-shirts and pajama bottoms. And that may be where you guys were originally starting this, so there may be a little bit of, it's kind of hard to tell with Kiln's clothes anyway, whether it's one or the other, but, or Mets for that matter. But yeah, I mean, getting off the island, once you're in the city, yeah, it's probably, buses and stuff. And while Joe might get some looks, they're more like cool gorilla. Like it's Halcyon City. This is in a very real sense. This is definitely like sort of an Astro City kind of thing. It's like you're hardly the only like bipedal anthropomorphic animal that takes the bus. It may feel like you are the only one sometimes, but I will say, just a little nod towards Joe a little bit. It's kind of nice, honestly, to see that people's reactions aren't like, the 1920s black and white horror take, drawing back with the arm up next to the face, kind of a thing. They're just,
Yeah.
It's not that. Most of the things I mean, any kids who happen to be around the reaction is actually kind of like cool, or just wide-eyed wonder and amazement and coolness. The kid outside the Incredibles house kind of a thing. And anybody else, I mean, I would say probably Met's not drawing any attention. Certainly Roddy isn't. Alex might be in the sense that, you know, the robotic hands might, someone might notice them. But again, big gorilla kind of tends to draw most of the attention. Kiln, I'm curious, do you look basically human aside from the Fabio hair, or is it pointy ears, any of that kind of thing going on? Or are we reserving all of that for Evan?
Nah, there are some pointiers going on, but
I'm just wondering if you are sort of obviously, not immediately obviously, but upon any kind of like serious, like actually look at the guy's face, you know, instructions from, you know, like, hey, look at that guy. Well, who? That one right over there. Just look at them. And that second look is when they start to notice like the eyes are maybe, you know, the eyes are too big, the ears are too pointy, kind of differences, or are you pretty close to human norm, or you know, are you close enough unless somebody actually takes a good look?
I'd say fairly close. Obviously, if someone ends up, you know, looking closely,
Gotcha.
they'll notice, but the casual glance won't really see anything.
Very cool. All right. Gotcha. So as Bill was saying, Alex feeling pretty chuffed about this. Busless up. Very easy to find a bus route that routes past the museum. Get off. Take a scan around. You got the sort of the really dark blue Amazon van off to the side. Just go over and give a rap on the back door, kind of a thing. There's a pause, probably about a good 10-15 seconds of did I get the wrong van, or did Alex get the wrong van before the door opens and a guy like sticks his head out for a second. I'm gonna go with kind of a northwestern U.S. like programming hipster kind of look. So head of hair, kind of thick, pretty good beard on somebody who without the beard would probably look like he was 12, and may not be a lot more than. Doesn't look like he's immediately more than that. Pretty slight guy, not very big. You know, sort of a narrow face. Your thick your thick rimmed, although largely not super necessary, maybe glasses. And he kind of opens at the door and looks around real quick. Eyes big, but eyes big kind of like I'm in a rush and looking around and like checking traffic across the street, not like eyes big like, oh my God, you're there kind of a thing. See, you know, takes all of you in, nods, and then closes the door again for a second, and you can kind of see the van kind of rocking back and forth a little bit as he's like stomping right around. And then the side panel door, the one that slides, kind of opens up, and he leans out again and looks at you guys and kind of motions you down to the side of the van. There's somebody in the driver's seat, but they are phenomenally not paying any attention to this. They were there. It's the incredibly bored security / driver archetype for Aegis, who is just not at all interested in whatever. Yeah, he is not at all interested in whatever nerdity that these tech guys have gotten up to. He's there to deliver the package, and aside from that, yeah, he's not like on his phone or anything. He's like scanning through the window and looking for anything, but he is not paying attention to whatever this Ryan B is doing. Okay. So got stuff for most everybody. Mostly it's just going to be physical analog stuff, except for you, Mr. Sorry, Mighty Young. We had to go a little bit more there. So feast your eyes on this. And he hands you a wide brim, like a fedora, and a trench coat.
I will roll to attempt to kill this person with a deadpan stare.
No. I know.
Joe's just kind of looking at him,
I know.
waiting for like the disguise to come out.
What am I thinking of? What comic am I thinking of where it's like the gorilla in like in the big hat and the trench coat? Am I thinking of a specific one, or I feel like there's one where we've seen that. But anyway, he goes, "No, seriously. Put it on. Just believe me. It'll work. It's even like, your size. I mean, it wasn't for you, but last time we used this, it was for apparently like this. Well, it doesn't really matter. Side note, because of that previous thing, this thing is totally fireproof. It's amazing. Anyway, so anyway, no, just, I mean, do you want to come in here to change or any?
No, I think I can change into a trench coat out here and put on a hat.
It actually is quite roomy and comfortable. It's definitely cut for somebody with of your dimensions. If not, it's a little long. It drags a bit on the floor, but doesn't seem to be too much of a problem.
It's long.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't drag on the ground, but it touches the ground occasionally when you're stepping.
That'll be useful if I get angry then. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you got the hat on. Now, what you want to do?
And I'm like watching him while I'm putting this on.
he's just
get on the trench coat.
He's really waiting. Like he goes, okay.
Put the hat on.
Now this is going to be
shift it a little forwards so it looks kind of rakish.
Yeah, no, but he goes, this is important because you got to do it like when I say lower it, don't like grab the brim and pull it down. That's a whole different thing. Put your hand on the top, on the crown of the thing. Get a firm, relatively firm grip, like my kind of firm grip, like a firm grip, okay, on the hat until you feel it click again, like you feel that click of something in the hat between your hand and your forehead, and then pull it down a little bit over your eyes, okay, like not like blindfold, but like lower it, like it's shading your eyes, like, but not the brim, again, not the brim. We don't, and he's looking around it. We don't want that kind of attention, right? Don't pull on the brim, but the top of the head, crown of the hat, and push in and click, and then pull down a little bit.
Joe's going to continue meeting his gaze with no expression. And yes, he'll put his hand on top of the hat, press as gingerly as he can. Is this like a hat for his head size as well?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well that is something. He figures at the very least he's maybe getting a hat and a trench coat out of this.
Exactly.
He slowly squeezes.
Yeah.
Is there a click?
It's like honestly, it's about like a.
Is there sound of generators powering up or something when there's a click?
It's the kind of, I mean, if you the kind of click that you would have in like a kitchen cupboard thing that has got like a spring-loaded little thing that's going to push the door out kind of deal. It's a spring-loaded kind of click and release. So yeah, there's like a click, like a or the button of a If somebody had built the button of a garage door opener kind of into the brim of the inside of the hat, kind of, it's that level of
Okay.
resistance. Although it is definitely not that level of resist. Like Ryan B would need to use both hands and like maybe press his head against a wall or something like that to get it to click. So for you, it's a fairly firm push. So it was definitely calibrated to somebody with your, call it, hand strength. But so there's a click and then you pull down. And yeah, you do feel some kind of a sort of a cool tingly sensation, like spearmint gum, but in a band around your head. What you for those of you watching this dramatic tableau spool out, a sort of digital filter drops in over Joe's face, like, and it trickles down, like it kind of sparkle trickles down over his face, so you can see it, the face coming down and replacing his with kind of a with well, it doesn't do anything to his body form, so he's still clearly a big dude, but the face is definitely human. Bearded, sort of a big, incredibly square-jawed kind of like guy. Looks like weirdly like Uncanny Valley reminiscent of like Brian Blessed. Okay?
Okay.
Like that kind of
Okay.
a thing. But in a big trench coat, or in a big hat. And Ryan's like, yes. Okay, cool. Now listen, for the coat to interface, you got to button it up. And you're going to get kind of a fade in. It's going to sync with that particular face setting. It's a cool one you got this time. And that'll fill in kind of the neck. Hands are tricky. Try to move slow. Feet shouldn't be that big of a problem, but the hands, just don't gesticulate a lot. It's kind of, you get kind of a vapor trail kind of effect as it's trying to keep up. So otherwise, it shouldn't be. Generally speaking, you want to stay with predictable movements, and the system can keep up. But once you start going too fast, the face is going to get a little weird too. Okay.
Is
And yeah,
Joe kind of aware of this, or
like I don't know,
is
like
everybody staring at him? Or...
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the take around him to show that something's happening? Because Ryan's off on a tear, but who?
Alex is going to snap a camera phone picture and just be like, "Here you go."
You look like a big bearded old guy.
Old?
Well, old
Who's
to
driving?
Joe.
Sure.
I mean,
So like 30.
sure, a little bit older than that. Somebody's like really, like, kind of weird looking uncle. But you don't look like a gorilla walking into a museum, so I guess that's a plus. Okay, so
Yeah.
the rest of you basically terrestrial stuff. We got like very low level IDs in case you need them, and the rest of it's just costuming stuff. To kind of like, we basically just picked something that wasn't what you were in when you were here yesterday.
Sounds good.
Actually, what he says is that wasn't what you were wearing when you wrecked when you were here yesterday. And the rest of it's just pretty much mundane stuff. Roddy, how do you normally dress? Like what? How would you like broadly speaking, real broadly speaking, how would you describe it?
Probably fairly casually, just like, jeans, t-shirt, probably like a hoodie or a sweater or something.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if they are like. No, the stuff is just generally pretty nondescript, but they're trying to give. I was going to say they were going to go with nondescript, but what they're actually trying to do is they're aiming for like memorable, but definitely not not falling into the same mental slot as.
Last time I came in costume.
Oh, so that shouldn't be a problem. Never mind.
Yeah.
For you,
I probably don't have to dress up.
Yeah. Met, you get stuff that's like really remarkably similar to the kinds of things that Macaron and her friends were kind of putting you in, because it's definitely different.
Basically, it's a short print dress. It's a floral print dress.
Yeah, it's fall, so there's like leggings that go with it too. Kind of a deal.
No, it's not if Macaron gave it to me.
Right, but this is again. This is ages. So
a little bit nicer.
Well, a little bit. Yeah.
Pleasing.
One step less cool. Kiln, for you, it's like a big like halcyon like sweatshirt hoodie thing, a baseball cap, khaki shorts, that kind of deal. Sneakers and socks kind of deal. Alex, what's the mental imprint that they're trying to convey here? Like what archetypes, I guess stereotypes more accurate. What kind of stereotype are they dropping you into for this?
Alex's normal look is antisocial, eclectic hacker. So, like any sort of normie look would do it.
Happy.
I'm just gonna say, like, hey, any other player can surprise me and suggest something that Alex would never ever wear.
Okay, I got it.
Never think to wear.
A pink Izod and light blue Dockers.
I don't even know what that is.
Like a pink
and with a
pink polo shirt with an alligator.
A slightly darker blue.
Slightly darker blue. What was it? I lost the last noun. Or I lost everybody. Who didn't I lose?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So
did we all this and we still lost the Hill House?
Man.
So the router betrayed them, is what I'm hearing.
No, I can hear everything.
Oh.
Hi. We lost the outgoing for a bit. Weird.
That is weird. I was showing up on the Discord client as active.
Wacky. All right.
But I am down to like all of a sudden little red pips on the voice quality.
None must be streaming movies.
That might do it.
Yeah, through her book.
So basically like the preppy polo shirt and khakis kind of look. Alex.
With the blue shirt draped over the shoulders and the collar turned up.
Oh, the collar.
With the blue what?
Blue sweater.
Oh, like the blue sweater over the shoulders kind of thing? Like a sling over the...
Oh, God, yeah, I can imagine this now. All right, yeah, Alex will die a little inside, but we'll wear this.
Okay. You gotta, I mean,
Ryan
you don't...
be getting back.
You should probably... Ryan's like, you should probably pop the collar. That's like that'll like totally lock in that look.
Your revenge for me calling this in on short notice, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about. I just Yeah, kind of. Actually, totally that. Sorry.
Okay, that's legit. I can't fault you on this one.
uh,
You came through on everything else. This is amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So he's going to take his skinny little bearded. Honestly, he should be in a plaid shirt and like skinny jeans, but uh, the picture I have in my head for him. But anyway, not relevant. He'll just, all right, well, we're going to stay on site so we can reacquire the assets. We not actually don't need the close back right away, but just in case you guys need anything, we're just going to stay. He just wants to stay in the field because he never gets to do this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm okay for at least a couple more hours. Low profile, just get out there and good luck. Break a. He's not going to say that. I'm going to close. He just closes the door before he puts his foot any further into his mouth. And there you go. There you go.
All right. Stay golden, pony boy, and we'll take off.
So the museum itself is not. It's a big enough space, and again, it's a couple buildings sort of been retasked together and stuff like that. That they didn't. Most of the damage yesterday, I say most, was localized to that central hall. Like it's really a space between two buildings that had been roofed. Now it's just a space between two buildings again. And there's ways to route around that to get to most areas in the museum. Some of the rooms are closed for repair. Obviously, because Kiln got sort of knocked through a couple of them. So they're focusing extra hard on like the Hall of Superheroes and stuff because none of the action really happened over there. It's really antiquities, that central room, that kind of deal. So quite a lot of that building is closed up. You got your yellow construction tape, roping, blocking areas off. There's a few extra maybe security guards kind of in the area, that kind of deal. And then you've got like what areas that were far enough away that they weren't further out on the edges of that antiquity section. They're sort of, if people really came to see that kind of stuff, that's what they're emphasizing is that kind of stuff. So the IMAX is running specials on the areas that are coincide with the areas that are open, so that you can get your fix, and then also get your fix in the sit in the theater and get your fix kind of thing. Meanwhile, there's a special. Roddy, help me with this one. There's a special guest appearance symposium kind of thing in the theater. Oh no, in Hall 6, the big one. That's just the big one. With and a big name, something, not, we're not going to bring back your guy.
No more Powertronic for this one.
Not Powertronic for this, but one of his teammates.
Okay.
Is here and is going to, and it's like in an hour. But route through the superhero thing, blah 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 blah, and then at 2 or at 10 o'clock. Blah, blah, blah. So they're hitting the superhero side hard because that's really what they kind of have open right now, and they've called in a couple of favors to get somebody not huge, but somebody who probably owes the museum or can be convinced to owe the museum or something, come into this thing. So who are we talking about?
Agent Alloy.
Agent Alloy. What's Agent Alloy's deal?
They turn stuff into other stuff, like material-wise.
Ooh, cool. Okay, so this is gonna be like a superhero / science demonstration.
Yes.
Good for the kids. Yeah. So anybody who was coming here for was slotted for science is instead going to the schools are going to be instead sending their science teacher along with them instead of the history teacher, and doing this presentation. Okay, so that's all going on. This is stuff happening in the museum. You see, it's Halcyon. They've got contingencies ready in case of unforeseen superhero related damages that close off sections of the building. I'm seeing a roll. Oh God, the puns, people. All right, so but with that said, the area that we're talking about here and the picture that we've got up here on the thing is I like that floral print. Oh my God, that picture, Dave. The little the prep thing that's really something. It's really special.
I'm going to take a powerful blow in 30 minutes. Just letting you know.
just from being in it for that long, the cotton poly blend is getting to you. I admit. Oh, I love the shout. I love the picture of the shouting Brian Blessed. I didn't have Discord open, so I feel like I've missed some real opportunities here. What is in his hat sticking up out of his hat?
I don't know, but it was close enough to a fedora that I wanted to include the picture anyway.
I will.
I think he's wearing a bell.
Oh.
Oh, you may very well be right.
He's wearing a bell on his head.
I don't know why.
No, I'm down with Agent Alloy. That suits really well. It's good stuff.
Oh, I know, but those were some other very good ones.
Count Riddle, Lash Battery. Claw.
Lash Battery sounds like a very interesting character.
Claw-O. That's just...
I am a claw. I am the best at what I do, but what I do is not very nice.
It's terrible. Okay.
James Hudson had grown up in Quebec rather than wherever else in Canada he grew up.
Oh, that's so bad.
Not James Hudson.
James or
what?
Howlett.
Yeah.
James Howlett. Yeah, that was it. That was the thing. Oh my word. All right, so we've got the place is kind of blocked off, security, all that kind of stuff. So what are we doing to get in there? How are we getting in there? Because in the museum is no problem. You guys are not setting off any kind of, nobody's like, they're back, oh my God, any of that kind of stuff. But we are definitely at the same time not, it's not especially easy to get into where you want to be.
I have a thing just for this.
You do? Tell me more.
It's straight up creeping.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Yeah.
Let's hear that.
When you scope out a person or place, make a roll on a 10 plus, ask 2, on a 7 through 9, ask 1. And the first question is, what's the best way in?
Nice. All right. I love it. So you guys get in here. It's like, what are we going to do now? And
it'll be Roddy just like, give me a minute, and I'll know what their
what's going on with them?
Is.
What's going on? What's their deal? What's the deal? Nice. Very cool. All right. So let's have the let's see what's going on.
Straight up. Not what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's cool though. I like that. A little bubble. Oh, holy moly!
How do I do that with a -1?
This game loves it. Well, I think something went weird there.
It doesn't. It's not showing a -1. It's showing a
+2.
2d6 plus 2.
I think we had this before. It was like pulling the wrong stat. But in any case, even with that, so it was a 6 and a 5.
Still.
It's still a 10. Yeah, your dice, man, in this game, love you. Which honestly, can I say, for the record, I've run into in the past the sort of consistently the thing where it's like it seems as though the beacons in every game that I ever listen to have the worst luck with dice. So on top of being the one without powers, their dice are just betraying them left and right. You have not had that problem. You are Superman with the dice. So that's a whole different thing. So straight up creeping. On the 10 plus, ask 2.
Yep. So first question is, what's the best way in?
What is the best way in? So when you guys are in there and kind of get in, coming in through the turnstiles and stuff, and Joe, still a bit of a challenge there, but they have like again, it's Halcyon. They have ways for you to get in, where you don't feel like you have to like step in sideways and stuff like that. Roddy quickly acquires one of the pamphlet maps of the museum, and is kind of scanning that while he's waiting for everybody else to kind of get through the queue. And it looks like, and not to put words in Roddy's mouth, but rather maybe not particularly tactfully asking, Killen, you were basically smashed through all walls on the first floor, right? Like you didn't get knocked high, you got knocked straight.
Correct.
You went in a line.
You went in a line. You didn't go in an arc. You went, yeah. So
Yeah, very hard line.
So
Cool.
probably if you were to go gonna kind of let me move us for a second here to because I'm gonna describe this and it's just gonna be a hot mess. So let's just get over here.
I was gonna say, is this going to be just as important as if it were we go left, we go right, and we duck under this tape?
The basic idea is that if you go if you had two buildings alongside each other and that space in the middle where most of the fight took place, Killen got knocked straight, call it into the right building, the right-hand building, and through about half of it because that central section where the temple was at was reconstructed. Was in like a central, very large space. I think we I mentioned this before that the space itself was big and enough to make it seem a little bit, the temple itself seemed kind of puny, or at least not as magnificent as it might have once been. In any case, further away from the fight, the section of the building is still intact. So we're still sending people through that section. So if you can get up to the second floor, the first floor is where they blocked off a lot of stuff because that's where the damage is, but it's not on the second floor. On the second floor, you can go over and get to viewing windows that would look down on the temple. From there, it's just a matter of finding a place that's quiet. Probably most of the windows are blocked off for the hall immediately adjacent so people don't see all the damage and everything like that, but that'll get you really, really close to it. From there, it's a matter of just dropping down into the space. And there was enough damage that probably you can get down in there. But anyway, that's how you get close and get past all of the people that are sort of on the perimeter, is far edge of the building, second floor, move in from there, drop down. There, I didn't have to draw it. Well
Cool.
spotted. What was your other question? Or do you want to save it?
I don't know. Nothing here is really jumping out at me given what's going on here. It's like, tell me, it'd be like, tell me, Joyce, what did happen here recently?
I mean,
No.
I want to suggest that there's, like the adventure provoking version of that question, which is, did Aegis or the school seem to be messing around here recently?
Yeah, or who here is not what they seem, something like that.
Yeah, I thought about that, but at the same time, it's like,
You
I
can
feel
say
like that will give. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like those would give us more immediate issues.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather just. I'd rather get to the temple and then deal with that issue.
Yep. And yeah, that is entirely fair. You can save it if you want to, get an answer about something, anything else going on. Alex, you had a thing that you had said, like,
I'm
you-
sorry. I'm laughing because the pacing Doris is back. I have got
you've
your video back on mine.
sorry, I can shut off the
Oh, no.
video. I just had flipped it on.
No, that's okay. I just was.
Do-
You surprised me pacing in the dark.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I've run
You're
into.
fine.
I've been trying to sit. It seems like a weird thing, but I've been trying to sit a little bit because for this last week especially, I always work at a standing desk, but I've been working barefoot, and
Huh?
that apparently really pisses off my feet.
You need the arch support.
But well, no, it isn't so much that they swell up like crazy, like a lot. So I kind of need the feet. I need the shoes. I need shoes on. But in any case, it took a couple days to kind of get them back to the point where it didn't feel like they were sort of like they had that tautness that you usually get from like sunburn.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was super frustrating. But I've sat enough. Anyway. Sorry. Alex, you had a thing, a bit of a revelation about what had been going on here, and you were, the comment that you had made was something along the lines of, "That's really interesting. I'm definitely going to be looking into that later, but I'm not worrying. We're not going to worry about talking about it right now." Is that?
Yeah, that worked. The museum had been suspiciously emptied for the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Folks have been routed around to different locations. The velvet rope was crossed off this room so people couldn't go through there, so they had to go over to this other place.
So not necessarily trying to separate you from anybody or anything like that, but by saying, "Do you want to go and investigate this?" I'm simply saying that being back here and thinking about that and thinking about how the crowd, and sort of seeing how the crowds are being routed quite expertly right now just to manage the flow around the damaged areas and stuff, puts you, not, it's like, oh, well, clearly they were the ones that did it. It puts you back in mind of the way in which the flow of the building was managed yesterday and kind of brings that more front of mind. Not in a, I am now going to compel the player with a fate point kind of thing, but just the slight stress-inducing reminder of that was staged somehow. Yep. Just throwing that in there. Okay, so back to they have draped sort of the viewing gallery. Oh, I like that. The viewing gallery at the second deck that looks down into the temple area, the temple room, has been draped, has been taped, like there's tape across so you can't get into that gallery. You're not supposed to get into that gallery, but there's no guards. Because honestly, the only thing really in the viewing gallery, if there's nothing to look at, are a couple of benches and like very tenuously connected slabs of carved sandstone and stuff like that with what might be hieroglyphics or something like that. Very, very tenuously, archaeologically speaking, connected to what might have been the temple, lining the outside wall of this sort of big circular gallery around the thing. So getting into the space is pretty much easy. And from there, you can simply part the drapes and see if there's, find a space where you can probably, and there's enough structural damage, there's probably a way down. But first and foremost, getting through where the tarps have been dropped down lets you see that space. There isn't any work going on. Nobody's in there right now. There's a lot of markers. There's a lot of sort of those temporary, the really bright LED lights on like tripod stands, like the yellow and black
Yeah.
painted like tripod stands for like construction or archaeological digs, at least in my mind, kind of thing with a really really bright. Those have been staged around. The damage, the damage through the walls and all this kind of stuff. It's all been pegged. Not Kiln necessarily, but James would recognize it in very much the way that you would peg out sort of an archaeological dig site, flagging, important stuff that needed to be more carefully extracted, kind of a deal. It's not quite that, but people who approach this kind of situation.
Is it more like a crime scene or
It's definitely not more like a crime scene. It's if you took archaeologists and told them we need you to flag everything in here so we know how to put it back together and also note anything weird or wrong with it. Like if you put archaeologists in charge of flagging a crime scene, you would get this. Okay? Or an accident. Actually, that crime scene's wrong. If you put archaeologists in charge of like noting everything that happened in a car accident, like a 3-car pileup, you would get this kind of stuff. So there's not, that's the face of it. Lights, pegs, tape of different colors, stretched out, crepe tape, that kind of stuff. The damage from the side that you guys are that you're coming immediately to isn't actually that bad. It's the other side that took the brunt of it. So Kiln, looking down at this thing, first thoughts, first reactions, based on that dream that you have, what's the first thing that you check or look for, or subconsciously or consciously? What's the first thing what do your eyes scan for in here?
I'm going to look around for any possible, water in there. So if there are any pipe breaks or, it's. Alex called that thing a drinking fountain.
Oh, yeah, the one that's just outside in the hallway there?
Yes. Drinking fountain. Interesting. Hello. Been suddenly surprised by my wife's appearance.
Can somebody remind me if there was a specific touch point that killed Nunes to activate it, or was it just a general?
If I remember right, it was kind of just like come up and touch the thing, and like sort of the etchings in the stone and everything sort of lit, like blue light kind of flowed out through.
Reacted to my magic tech.
Yeah,
I just was trying to remember if it was sort of like the equivalent of touching a palm plate. For if they had touched it anywhere, we would ended up with the same thing.
That's an interesting. I think ask Kiln. Like, did it matter where you touched it, or could you have touched it anywhere to do this? I feel like the answer, if you were asking me, my answer would be yes, but I defer to Kiln on this.
Yes, which way?
I would say yes, it matters where you touch it. Like there's a certain point where you're meant to, and that's.
So since I was there when,
but I don't know.
Kiln was there when Kiln touched it, I'm kind of trying to look for that equivalent spot as we're seeing everything spread out.
And Kiln, please, like, either confirm or deny on that. I see.
Yeah, I would also say that it was a more specific spot, but also it was not like somehow archaeologists had just managed not to touch that spot. It was the spot reacting to
yes,
absolutely magic tech.
Yeah, absolutely. That absolutely. You're the missing link in this scenario. But yeah, there's definitely sort of this contact point where meant to interact with it. And again, that's to a certain extent the thing that you would know, as opposed to somebody else. Okay, so that's happening. You're looking for water and stuff. I'm going to say that that's actually you a little bit distracted, and not necessarily distracted by the thing that you should be distracted by, because you're checking damaged water pipes, which there certainly may have been in the walls you came through. So you're kind of checking that. You're looking, kind of trying to get an angle through the glass to look down at where you remember that water fountain being, and that kind of thing. Matt, I'm going to ask you to assess the situation, since you're kind of like paying more attention to like that central area, trying to remember exactly what it was that he did in the first place with this. To a certain extent, kind of putting the tech. Magic Tech has the word tech in it, and that interests you. So kind of trying to put it in your context a little bit. Does that make sense?
RG?
Sorry,
Muted.
distracted. Yeah.
So while while they're almost kind of looking around the temple rather than looking at it, while they're doing that, you're kind of like looking at that. And I'm going to have you assess the situation and see what you see. See what you spot. Oh my lord. You guys and your dice. My lordy. Alright, so that's a, what was that, 13?
Bull hit.
My god. Palpable. A palpable hit. Assess the situation. On a 10 or higher, ask 2. From the list as it is presented. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly? Nothing in that sense. It's kind of a loaded question, but Keelan, you do spot a way to get down. It's basically on the other side of the room, sort of directly where you came in. The windows in the viewing gallery have been cracked, and that whole panel kind of fell out on basically the far side from where you came up against it. But there's definitely a couple of glass panels that just aren't there. So if you want to basically hop through that empty space there and drop down, that's how you would get in. I'll tell you that much. Met, what do you think? What do you think about these questions?
Here is the greatest danger.
What is in the greatest danger?
Well, I was thinking of more, what is the greatest danger?
So what here is the greatest threat? Gotcha. Yeah, those two questions right next to each other are a little bit, I conflate them often. You see movement in the temple, or actually squint kind of a weird, like it's hard to something inside the temple is moving, but trick of the light, it looks like something, it looks like some inner part of the temple is moving.
It's sort of like shadows inside the temple are moving, but you're not seeing anything that would be causing the shadows to move.
Yes. And also when you do get anything that seems to be like isn't shadowed, where it isn't just like some sort of mass moving, kind of a thing, the few bits where it seems to be lit look like the temple stone moving. And it's not enough to really, but yeah, something is definitely moving inside the temple, or the temple is moving.
Okay.
Something inside is moving. So,
who's closest to me?
Joe, probably. I mean, statistically speaking, it's probably going to be Joe.
Surprisingly close, but not looking at you.
Yeah, he's
Not in that dress.
very, very carefully not looking at you. Super
Except
hard.
when he is.
He's not looking at you very intently.
That's funny. Okay.
Actually,
I'll
if I could just for a second interject on that. So Joe's nearby. Let's just take quick stock what folks are doing. So Kiln is sort of scanning around and got a little bit of information. Kiln, are you moving? Are you doing anything? You don't see any water leaks or anything like that, so that's good? Question mark.
good.
So yeah, it's good. Question mark. What are you doing after the initial, like, call it 20-second scan of the surrounding area there? What are you up to?
I'll probably head towards that spot I saw to get down.
Great. Alex.
I think Alex is basically watching their teammates and seeing what needs or who needs support, if anybody. Other than that, they're probably in the background probing at the museum's network, following up on the clearing out yesterday. Maybe they're looking for evidence that somebody hacked into the network itself, or looking for traces of who might have authorized something like that.
Interesting. Okay. On the face of it, it doesn't feel like a necessity. Do you have any special moves towards that are assess the situation like, but more kind of specific to your deal, or is it? It almost feels like it's actually unleash your powers, where you're sort of extending your senses and kind of poking around. But I don't need to roll right now. I'm just getting a sense of like what.
I feel like the assess questions could handle it.
Okay. All right. Let me table that for a second, but I'm down with that kind of happening in the background. Roddy, what about you?
There are 47 large pieces of debris and 348 small pieces of debris. And if somebody isn't around to punch, he's going to start counting ceiling tiles.
Roddy's bored. Kiln looks like he's about to go over and sorry. Kiln looks like they're about to go over and drop down into the space themselves and actually get down into there. Does that is that less boring than what you're currently doing? And is it less boring enough to go with them?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, then you're going, having noticed that Kiln is headed that way, going, oh God, yes. And let's go that way. So Matt, given all of that, not only is Joe kind of nearest you and looking out through the glass and looking at everything carefully, not looking at you, except probably looking at you in the reflection of the glass. Alex is.
Wouldn't notice that.
Yeah, exactly. Alex is kind of off to the side and back, away from the viewing area where they have a more broad kind of ability to see sort of everybody. Kind of, again, not probably what you would notice, but that's kind of just where they are. They're sort of hanging back. And it looks like Kiln and Roddy are heading around to the other side of the viewing gallery, probably with an eye towards dropping down. So Joe's nearest. Kiln and Roddy are most likely to be the people that are going to be affected by your intel soon.
So I will say, Joe, do you see that? See how the shadow seems to be moving, or the stone? Tell me I'm not crazy. What are you seeing?
So Joe's been looking kind of antsy because part of him wants to climb down and check out this thing because there was all that deja vu when he was here the other day, and also Roddy is heading that way, so he wants to make sure Roddy doesn't get to something first. But he also kind of wants to hang next to Met, especially since he looks at least 47% more normal and wants to talk with Met about that. And she is in a very pretty dress, and so he's like, wait, the shadow, there's shadows, and so he will look to see if he can perceive whatever it is that she's seeing.
And there's lots of little weird deja vu bits kind of firing off the back of your head. Just looking at the temple itself is a little bit weird, a little bit like a weird kind of nervousness to it. Likewise, and just slightly amped up, just a touch more when you're told to like direct your gaze inwards towards the center of the space. Yeah, there's definitely something. Not as much as what she seemed to have described, but yeah, definitely you see a movement. Like Matt was seeing movement, like a continual kind of thing for a bit, and you don't see anything for a bit, and then you do see something kind of shift down within the building after a couple of seconds. So something. I mean, it could be a worker, it could be something, but it doesn't really. It looks bigger than like somebody down there.
Hey guys, watch out! There's something going on inside the temple. You directing that towards the
towards Kiln
towards Kiln and Roddy, who are like gingerly climbing out through the broken window glass,
or not so gingerly.
Oh really? Accelerates.
Perfect. So yeah, Kiln and Roddy, I will ask. Well, first of all, having said that, Joe, what are you then doing? Taking your lead from Matt is a legit answer. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna head towards this opening in the view window as well.
Okay.
If there's a threat there, I kind of want to get, make sure I can do something about it.
Sure. Matt, did you have another? Do you want to ask your other question or save that?
I think I'm going to save my second question.
That is just fine with me.
I always like to keep the how can we best end this quickly up my sleeve.
I mean, tactically speaking, that seems sound. Okay. Okay, so Kiln. Joe called out, there's something down there in the temple, I think, guys. Just as you're about ready to drop down, what do you do?
I'm going to quickly race over there to figure out what is.
So Joe's warning is to caution folks, and so we're like, oh hey, there's something there. Cool, I'm gonna race towards it.
No, that's Roddy. Kiln is more of the oh god is my what I'm concerned about true, and wanting to go confirm whether or not.
Works the same.
The end result is the same, but the intent is different.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you're headed in. You drop down and head for the. I want to make sure I'm understanding this. You drop down and head straight for the temple to kind of see what's What's to be seen in there?
Yeah.
And Roddy, you're basically on his heels, or
Yeah, like this is Kiln's thing. So he as a player is letting James take the front, but
Gotcha.
more it's just like Roddy just being like, "Oh, I got to go see what this is."
Okay. Okay. Cool. Goodness, shoot. James, I will direct your attention to the Hangouts chat we were doing before.
Solid.
Okay. Grab me a link or something?
I'm
Or-
gonna send it to you. Give me just half a second.
Okie dokie. Excellent. All right. Cool. All right.
I
So
have 2, so you can choose between them.
are you, when you say send, you're,
I'm sending in
oh,
the
look.
Hangouts.
Oh,
Just
there
give
we
me
go.
half a second.
Ah,
And then patience.
oh, I like that.
There ain't no patience to be found around here. You should know that by now.
Patience is a virtue.
Not
We're
now.
not
It isn't.
helping.
So take your pick.
Oh man.
Haha, decisions on you. I also couldn't choose.
Man. All right. Let me look. Uh,
Wait. I know what's I know what's about to happen, and I need to get the right GIF to come up. Hang on a sec. Oh, for God's sake. Nope. Never mind.
No, I really want to know what GIF you were pulling up.
Okay.
Um, hmm. All right. I apologize for the silence. I need to ask. Okay. I need to ask James one more question.
There we go.
This will therefore determine the answer, but really it's more about me asking about Kiln.
Even better.
Riveting silence. Right now my text chat with James is basically Ryan B is typing. Stops. Ryan B is typing. Stops. Ryan B is typing.
You're making me lose my train of thought.
Sorry. I'm just gonna save both these images while I'm thinking of it.
Didn't give a very clear answer, but you know,
Okay, let me.
better than okay.
Oh, that'll be fine. I think we're safe. Thank you. That's a very considerate thing to think of, but yeah. Okay, so yeah. All right. Let me get into the thing and grab the stuff. All right. So, Kiln's headed that way. Did you pull out any weapons, or are you just heading that way, kind of with a quickness? Are you girding yourself as you go, kind of a thing, or no?
No, I'll pull out a sword.
Okay.
Prepared for
I'll
the
just
worst.
pull out a sword.
I'll just pull out a sword.
You know, Katana Space, it works.
It's absolutely a thing. All right. So, yeah, sword's coming out, and when the sword comes out, and the air kind of, I don't know, Alex's take on this might be just sort of, there's sort of an ozone reaction to that sword coming out every time. I'm not exactly sure how Alex would necessarily describe it to Aegis, but there's definitely a reaction when that thing hits the open air. As soon as that quality suffuses the air down there, there is a definite, and Kiln, you see it, there's definitely a reaction from something inside the temple. Something draws inward, or maybe flinches, or clenches, or just reacts. And so there's a moment there where you kind of hesitate or just stop to kind of go, okay, well, there's definitely something there. What's going on? And then there's a much more certain movement, not just the sense of movement, but a much more certain movement, and just a chunk of wall from the temple, like a broken cut stone from the temple, comes dead straight out through the sort of the front of the temple, and straight at you. At cave your head in speed, in reaction to, first there's the flinch, and then there's and you hear kind of this grinding stone. It's weirdly familiar. It's not exactly grounding stone, but it's a sound. Met, for you, it just sounds like stone grinding together. Met or Alex is far enough up there. Roddy, you're getting more nuance to it. Like there's something behind it. Like it's something is making. It's a voice, but there's a lot of that grinding stone sound to it. Kiln, for you, it's a weird kind of deja vu. You can't quite put your finger on. Like it's you got yourself so set up to deal with Fluvis that having done that, you're so much into that set that this particular puzzle piece doesn't want to find the spot that it drops into. But more importantly, Rock, coming at your head. What do you do?
Rocks coming towards my head has happened far too frequently in the past few days.
Yes. Coming down at your head, in some cases your head going toward Rock. Yeah, it's been a theme. There's been a lot of that going on. Block it, dodge it.
I'm going to
vaporize it, slap chop it.
Blind swing my sword. I kind of like Roddy was showing me was it baseball?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Baseball. Like there's
Basic ball.
Basic
Bases ball.
Yeah. Anyway, so many. Yeah. So yeah, you kind of a double-handed sort of swat kind of thing, just to knock it away, kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't think you're how do you? So is it just that reaction, knock it away, and then wait, or knock it away and charge in?
Knock it away. I was not expecting a rock coming towards my head.
Okay. Yeah, and it doesn't match with anything that you'd be likely to, that you would have been expecting based on like the dreams you've been having, all this other kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm not even making you really defend because I mean, functionally you're not defending anybody else. This is just an action for like, kind of opening the thing up. It's quickly followed by more movement from within the temple. Something big comes out through the front of the temple. How? Joe, you're probably getting around to the opening there. How kind of is the biggest question? Because it almost seems like it shouldn't fit through the front of the temple, really. And somehow it does, without breaking anything or shoving anything down or something like that. It just almost kind of flows out through the thing. You've got... What steps out into the light is currently loading. And there you go. And is, like I said, kind of flows out through that doorway and must have been moving almost as soon as it threw, the rock at you, and kind of sidesteps its way out through the building and then immediately starts just goes straight at you, Kiln. Well, you and Roddy, basically. Big old dude. And I think... Well, no. What do you do or say, or do you want to wait? What's your initial reaction to this?
Well, let's see. Kind of seeing a teacher outside of school, like in the supermarket. Recognition, but the pieces aren't clicking together.
So you're basically like fish out of water, like mouth gaping and working kind of thing, but like can't get it all to like actually go. Like you just can't get it. It's like nope, the gears are slipping. I cannot get the clutch to take right now. It is just not. Yeah. So yeah, Matt, you've probably got the best view of any of this. Well, I guess to a certain extent, Joe does. Is Joe's like actually in that perfect, great ape position of like over the ledge, feet against the wall, one hand still.
Joe definitely knows what he would be doing right now.
Which is?
Well, his friends are in danger, especially. Well, I mean, Killen's obviously kind of in the front there, but Roddy, and we need to do something about Roddy. If someone's threatening him, so he would be launching himself.
Yeah, because you were like hanging
from the edge there towards this thing with an idea of trying to defend them, but particularly Roddy because Roddy.
Okay.
From this imminent menace.
Gotcha. Perfect. Beautiful.
Meanwhile, Roddy's here like, man, it's another thing I can't punch.
Okay, I'll punch it for you. It'll be my pleasure.
See if you can try to identify any vulnerable spots. It's a rock. It doesn't have any vulnerable spots. Anyway, still.
Thank you very much.
Still fantastic.
No,
it's that rock.
It's a bad
the other rock.
sound.
Okay, so Joe leaping into the fray. Roddy going, oh, seriously? Rocks? Kiln literally got, I guess,
Problem, Roddy. You're never serious about the craft.
Kiln kind of like really, I'm going to say just gobsmacked a little bit by what he's seeing, what they're seeing, damn it. Met?
Is being seen.
Met? I mean, it all kind of makes sense. Yeah, you're seeing the inside of a temple moving, yeah, kind of. Or at least something very similar. Certainly understandable. And Alex certainly could have been far enough forward to see any of this. What are you were probably just in the midst of like digging through going, I wonder if there's just any emails that would be going on with this, and then all of this thing kind of happened. So yeah, the shot is the last big panel is this thing charging, Kiln kind of just standing there, half flinched, Roddy going, you know, like not even, Joe flying through the air towards it, and then in the back area there, up still looking through the glass. This is the cover that this is the image that they like put on the cover of this issue's comic, right? And you know, Met and Alex looking down on the whole thing from the viewing gallery up above. And I think we stop right there. I will parenthetically note, Joe, thank you for immediately attacking, because it puts us into one of the sort of the classic comic book positions for the beginning of next session, which is good times. No, I will not explain further.
By the way, I would like to do a roll.
Oh yes.
Before we wrap up.
Yes, please do.
So, I think I want to do because there's two different roles. I want to do the progress on the investigation. So that's just I want to know, having studied this some more, is, how do maybe the runes on this, or how does something in this room trigger something in the future? Where have I seen this in my own time?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Yikes! Look at that.
Of course.
Of course it's a 10. Nobody ever rolls anything bad anymore. We just don't do that in this game.
Oh no, we do. When we do it on the King of Powerful Blow.
So
repeatedly.
This is the investigate the timeline. Is that right?
Yes. So it's the last paragraph on that page. So at the start of each session, or when time passes, roll Savior.
Sure.
Find out how your investigation into the timeline has been going.
Hit choose one figure note above, or one aspect of the future world you can remember. You found a lead to follow to learn more about how the present version of that or aspect became the future version.
You can give me the answer to that at the beginning of next week.
I think I'm good on this. The lead is particularly strong. You're playing back through your mind the pattern that you saw on the sort of the outside walls of the building. Again, trying to like sort of socket it into your experiential knowledge of technology. The blue lines are circuitry, that kind of thing. Going back through the history books on everything that was happening at that point in time. Intact consciousness transference. Verboten technology, like stuff that was, it's strongly associated with basically the bad side of things, everything having to do with, but somehow, and which isn't to say they were using this tech, but there was, and I think I said this, that the fight where you guys came together, the technology at that point in time reminded you of something bad. And that bad thing was, in some way, shape, or form, the way, maybe it's the energy signature, just the general visual appearance of the thing when it's semi-activated, reminds you of some of the footage that you had on this thing that was being done that had to do with basically taking consciousness out of a person and putting it someplace else.
What was the first word you have? Contact transference. What was the first word?
Consciousness.
Intact.
Yeah.
Intact consciousness transference.
Intact consciousness transference. Not that really weird when you're talking about AIs. It's like, okay, take this thing and put it over to a different, robot, or have 50 AIs inside of the same robot. Whatever. But in this case, it's specifically as it pertained to something that they were doing to people. There was some aspect of that thing that the monster was doing that had to do with doing that to people. Okay. Really strong. I mean, that was the whole thing. It became kind of a weird weird reaction just in general with the temple kind of thing. It's like, what was that? What was that thing that was? And it finally clicked for you. It's like, oh crap, it's that. Or at least that's what it reminds me of. So there you go.
Like it.
Cool. All right. And that's maybe Met's revelation as all this is going on. Completely unhelpful in this given situation, but oh crap, that's what it reminds me of. Like just as the fight started to go, she's like, Bart, his name was Bart. Man, I could not remember that earlier. It's like, it's not helpful right now. All right. So this is kind of the halfway point. Do we do the end of session moves, or do we save that?
I say save it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good saving it.
All right. Cool. All right. So
I still haven't written up my advancement from last time. So.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. In that case, we will save it right there. We will begin probably with Joe's defend roll. Probably. To get things rolling right there, and I will say also, Alex, parenthetically, if you feel like you got far enough in the digging to have, like, if enough time had gone by there to have flown through the systems and possibly gotten assess the situation kind of deal going on, then we can absolutely have done that, and retroactively, like, start the demons running and check the readout after the fight going, well, what did I actually get? Holy crap, whatever, that kind of deal. So, okay, putting that in your pockets and stuff. Okay, cool.
Thank you guys.
Rock punching, coming
Yes.
soon.
We like it.
I mean, Roddy, honestly, I don't think I'd probably be doing a good job by you if I gave you a bunch of people who are easy to punch. I mean, you're the beacon. You're supposed to be out of your league, right?
I mean, this just gives me motivation because at some point I have to pick up those Nightwing Eskrima sticks.
Yeah. Or the I was always a huge fan of, in Young Justice, if you took your eyes off Robin for too long, something that you cared about suddenly had blinking grenades stuck to it.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all like little Robin shaped. Like, it's like, what do you think you could possibly do? And he would just point behind you and go that, and then you turn around and your favorite car was like bleep bleep bleep, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, Eskrima sticks.
Rewatching Leverage, it's the use of the EMP guns.
Oh yeah.
Everybody loves the EMP guns.
Going from, oh well, that's kind of silly, to, oh yeah, this is fun.
Nice.
Anyways.